Now let's head to London for the latest on the coronation of King Charles, just 48 hours away. Joining me is royal historian and consultant to the Crown on Netflix, Robert Lacey. Robert, we've got new images overnight of the King, Queen, Prince William, Kate and their adorable children. Louis is my favourite. All of them at Westminster Abbey for a dress rehearsal of the coronation. What exactly were they doing?
Well, they were trying to make themselves picture perfect. I just want to say how much I agree with what you and Barnaby were just saying. We British were slaves of the Romans. For centuries, the Romans kicked us around, enslaved us, killed us. We don't waste our time asking Italy for apologies. As you say, we've got to move on, and that's what King Charles is doing with the coronation. He is our head of state. He's not our political head of state. He is what we all agree about in this country, as opposed to what the politicians disagree about. And there in the Abbey, finally to answer your question, we saw the members of the royal family, the junior members of the royal family, going through the elements of this actually very old-fashioned, very religious ceremony, which some people might say is out of keeping with modern times. But as Elsa was saying, that's not really how people are feeling on the streets. I was brought here today, courtesy of you, thank you, by a nice taxi, driven by a gentleman from the West Indies, black, I'm white. And he said, we got to look forward. And he thinks that the British royal family are moving forward, and he particularly liked, although he's Muslim, the fact that our king is Christian. He said, it's a different religion, but I trust a man who believes in God, and that's the way ahead for me. So there's all sorts of themes roiling around at the moment, and we're going to see how they work out on Saturday.
Well, we're just hours away. I mean, witnessing something many of us have never seen before, many of us will never see again. But we are hearing some reports. Piers Morgan, for example, is saying the number of US media crews is down. Does that indicate that perhaps the royal spark is dimming around the world, that the interest isn't as great outside of the UK?
Well, media insiders are saying that American broadcasters spent so much covering the funeral of the Queen, they haven't got enough money to come back and cover the coronation. People are always saying, for example, look, young people in England, the polls show young people in England are not so keen on the monarchy as old people. That is taken by some people to be bad news. Other people would say, look, all these young people grow into old people who support the monarchy. So you can cut the figures any way you like. But certainly, if you look around here, I don't know if your viewers have noticed, in the course of your last 20 minutes or so, a couple of lampposts have been removed because of getting the scene ready. And I think we're going to have a perfect scene on Saturday, although, of course, the weather apparently is going to rain in the best British tradition. And so we're rather looking forward to that as well.
Now, Robert, much has been said about the reunion of Prince William and Harry. You've written the book, Battle of Brothers, William, Harry and the Inside Story of a Family in Tumult. How do you think the reunion will go? Will Harry be welcomed by the family and by Brits in general?
I don't think he's going to be welcomed by William or Kate. There's bitter bad feeling there. William split with Harry because he felt Meghan was not treating her staff well. Nothing to do with race. She was accused, let us be quite clear because she denies it, she was accused of mistreating her staff. That's not the way royal people are supposed to behave. I have spoken to people who saw these members of staff weeping, crying, women who felt they had been belittled by Meghan. Now, Meghan denies this, but that's the issue. Harry leapt to defend his wife. William leapt to defend the monarchy and the institution because he felt royal people should not behave in that way. It's an interesting rule that the most successful royals are the humble ones, the ones who fit into the system. Meghan appeared as a film star, as a diva. Here I am waggling my finger, so it shows how much I feel about all this. So I don't think, I mean, having said that, it was very interesting just a few months ago to see the statue of Diana being unveiled over there in the gardens of Kensington Palace. And for that, Harry and William came together as friends and brothers and put their differences aside in pursuit of a bigger cause, which in that case was their mother. I think, therefore, on Saturday, we will see the same thing. They're both there to honour their father, who's waited so long for this day. And while in the future, I think there's not much prospect of a healing between the two brothers, Charles, of course, certainly wants to bring his son back into the fold.
Now, just quickly, if the reunion doesn't go to plan, if they don't come together for a bigger cause and Harry continues to do interviews and slam the family, could Charles remove his title? Is that a possibility?
It is a possibility that Charles could remove Harry's title. He has the power. What's very interesting, though, is that although Meghan and Harry say they hate titles and they hate the royal family and the monarchy, they've actually decided that their children will be called Prince and Princess. At the moment, Meghan Markle is the principal producer of young princes and princesses for the royal family. So work that one out if you can.
Oh, Robert Lacey, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much for joining me tonight.